My focus has more shifted towards Mars, as you can see from the picture there. Tonight I'm going to be telling you about the past exploration we've done, the present exploration that we're doing right now, and the exploration that we're going to be doing in the future.
Sorry, just 1 second.
Okay.
Okay, you're good.
So a few things that I like to do. ChemCam is the laser instrument on Mars, and this is not what it looks like. It's an artist's interpretation. That would be kind of cool to do, but no, that's not what it looks like. This is more what it looks like, but also that's a little deceiving as well because it shows a laser as a green laser, but actually that's wrong. It's an invisible laser. And what happens is a laser fires from the rover and hits a rock up to 20 feet away. And the light is then emitted from the rock that it's vaporizing and is read by the rover and tells you exactly what it's made of chemically. And I mentioned that I did lunar studies a while back, and I was looking at places on the moon where people would go study the impact craters. And I have a chapter in this book that I wrote, I think this was 2010. So I also do Earth geology, and one of my main sites that I research is up in the Arctic of Canada on Devon Island. This is a giant impact crater right here. You can see the structure kind of, it's a little eroded. And what I was doing is I was looking at a certain site and taking the rocks from there and analyzing the rocks with the same instruments that we're using on the Curiosity rover as sort of practice before we actually landed the rover on Mars. And so you can see this picture is sort of an orange kind of rock. That means it's iron oxide, it's rusted. And the reason it's rusted is because there was lots of water flowing through here. It was a hydrothermal site, which is interesting. If you're going to look for life on Mars, you might want to go look at a hydrothermal site because it has two of the components you need, the water and the heat. And so I collected rocks from there, and I sliced them up into really thin sections, like these here, and shot them with a laser, and then studied them, saw how they were reacting, and compared them to what we see on Mars. Another thing that I like to tell people is some of the instruments on the rover have to have calibration because when we send them there, we don't know what they're gonna look like, what the readings are gonna be. So we send rocks to Mars and then analyze that because we've already analyzed it here on Earth. And so I collected a rock in New Mexico, where I'm from. From this area right over here, and sliced it up, and now it is on the rover on Mars. And let's see what else. So Martian meteorites are the only thing that we have currently here on Earth from Mars. And what happens is an impact hits Mars and blasts material off the planet, rocks and dust and stuff like that. And so eventually, over millions of years, those rocks can make their way to Earth. They fall to the Earth, we pick them up, and we have a Mars rock and moon rocks. And so what I did is I shot this Mars rock with the laser,